In this video, we're going to talk about billions of dollars in cryptocurrency hacks, but the main part of this video, before we get to all that, is about the ways in which the American economy right now is in similar shape or worse shape than nations like Mozambique, Angola, Bhutan. And when you think of those countries, even Portugal and Greece to a certain degree, you think of those countries, they have very bad or very weak economies. And America now is in the same boat as them. I'm going to tell you all about how we're in a similar situation to those countries right now and what that means. We've been getting a lot of testimonials like this lately, and so when I get a good one like this, I want to share it with you. You've been right all along. You said don't buy a house in 2022, prices will drop. Well, in my area in January 2022, the average selling price was $1.225 million. And now in January 2023, it's $745,000. Thank you, Peter. Marshall. Right on, man. Good testimonial. Thank you. And I'm glad that you're paying attention. A lot of people bought at the peak of the market, which I guess is what happens at market peaks. Most people buy then. This is an article from the Toronto Sun. It's a Canadian newspaper, but we are talking about United States of America, all these stats. In an article from Star Parker, she says, Social Security is broke. According to the system's trustees, there are insufficient funds to meet obligations beginning in 2034, 11 years from now. I would argue, though, that the problem is now. You can address it now or never, not 11 years from now. That's the wrong way to go about it. And that's also incorrect math. We're in a lot more trouble. We already are broke. She goes on to say every young American entering the workforce now must pay taxes into a system that does not have the resources to pay the promised benefits. Thank you. Yes, I'm trying to make this point clear to people. I don't think people realize that they're paying into a system that's not going to be able to pay back what they're being promised. In another article in the same paper from Betsy McKagy, the U.S. is heading off that cliff. The national debt is at its highest level since the Second World War. It is forecast to break that record soon. Yes, very soon, actually. Thank you. In 2022, it hit 98% of GDP, which is everything we all produce going to work every day, and that percentage is growing rapidly. That puts the U.S. in the company of nations such as Mozambique, Bhutan, Angola, Portugal, and Greece. The percentage of debt that the individuals in the population hold compared to the country's GDP. It wasn't always like this. Over the last 50 years, debt to GDP averaged 46%. Harvard's Carmen Reinhart and Kenneth Rogoff analyzed 44 countries in their landmark analysis for the American Economic Review. They found that when national debt exceeds 90% of GDP, and just to remind you, we're at 98% right now, anytime a country's debt to GDP exceeds 90%, a benchmark that's already in the US's rearview mirror, the economy falters. 36 other studies confirm that excessive government borrowing sabotages economic growth. Again, yes, thank you. I'm telling you about this article, so it's pointing out a bunch of stuff I've been telling you for a while. And the economy of America is incredibly weak, and it's in comparison with a lot of countries such as Angola and Mozambique and Bhutan. That's what situation we're in right now. We think that we're such an advanced economy, an advanced society. In some ways, of course. But in this particular way, we're no better off than any of these countries that are faltering economically. What this means is that at the end of the day, you're looking at sabotaging economic growth, as the article says, and it's just making it more and more difficult to run the economy efficiently, to do what's in the best interest of all the people, to do what's in your best interest. For example, being able to pay you out the pension that you're owed. For example, being able to lower taxes. For example, being able to buy the things that we need to buy. Or even to go further, for example, to pay for the things we've already spent the money on. We've got to decide now to raise a debt ceiling to be able to spend the money that we've already spent. We've got to pay back what we owe. That's what the debt ceiling debate is about. And I'm going to go on to another part from CNN here that's very important. We can't have a clean debt ceiling increase, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick told CNN. He would not specify what cuts he believes are necessary, instead arguing that the entire structure of the debt ceiling should be changed. And I'm calling this part out because I want to show you what they do. I'm telling you this is what they're going to do. They're not going to fix the problem. They're not going to pay down the debt ceiling or make the right moves, the political suicide moves that you'd have to do to fix this problem. And so now they're saying, well, let's change the entire structure of how the debt ceiling works. We'll change the language. We'll change the way that it operates. And what that is, it's just another way of defaulting. Oh, we owe these debts? Okay, they're unfunded liabilities. Okay, we have to raise the debt ceiling. Let's change the entire concept of how the debt ceiling works. And yeah, they'll figure out a way under that guise to be able to live to fight another day politically. But they're just making things more convoluted and clunky and worse. I've been concerned about the way this debt ceiling argument is going to go, and it is going to be different than the ones that you're used to. But this is just another example of what is already happening with this debt ceiling debate. They're already talking about changing the entire structure of the debt ceiling. What that means is that the debt ceiling that we're talking about here is going to be a different thing that we're going to fix or address. We're going to address something else once we reword what the debt ceiling is and what it's all about. This is just like 3-card Monte or a shell game where they're ripping you off and you don't even know it. And what this all means for you is this is why it's so important for you to get set up properly now, to get into the right kinds of assets such as physical gold and silver, gold mining companies that I like a lot, avoiding a lot of the speculative stuff. And what you're seeing in the markets lately has been a lot of strength. That's a bear market rally. I believe that we're not done. I believe that we're not past the pain point. I believe there's a lot more difficulty to come in the near future. And people let their guard down as soon as the stock market starts doing better. They start thinking, okay, wow, I'm glad we got through that, and now it's time to pounce, to try and get involved of catching the bottom of this V-shaped recovery. That's not the situation we're in, and it's just a situation that feels like we're in. A lot of people are going to be on the wrong side of this. A lot of people are going to be burned by getting involved again to the market too quickly, too early, when it's not done washing out all of the rust and broken pieces. And just before we get into all these huge cryptocurrency hacks that are going on right now, I've got to make sure to put the disclaimer in this video. For many of you, this is your first time here. My name is Peter Leeds, and along with my extraordinary team, we publish one of the most popular financial newsletters of all time. Nothing we say in this video is intended as personalized trading advice for you. And as promised, I want to talk about the cryptocurrency hacks. And the reason I want to bring this out now, it's just like I just talked about, with this bear market rally and cryptocurrency prices are starting to go up higher again. It's important to look at what kinds of hacks have been going on, because the other day I went to Coinbase, which has some of my funds that I invest in cryptocurrencies in that account. They won't allow withdrawals now. You cannot take money out. That to me is a default. If you think about it, when I got the account, it was intended that I would be able to invest in cryptocurrencies and remove money at will. And now they've changed that rule. So there's still a cryptocurrency exchange, but they're not allowing me access to the funds. But at least the funds are still in there, because there's been a lot of hacks of cryptocurrencies. And what happens is that then they look into the hack and they find out what the problem was and they fix that loophole or that issue. And then people relax and say, well, at least we took care of that. But cryptocurrency hacks are more common right now than ever, and that completely undermines the entire concept of investing in cryptocurrencies. Like if you're going to invest in the stock market, you buy a stock, it goes down, you lose money. It goes up, you could sell the stock and make some money. But there's a different thing going on with cryptocurrencies where there's so many hacks right now, billions of dollars of hacks, that you can buy the cryptocurrency and it goes down, you lose money. It goes up, you think you made money, and all of a sudden your money's gone. In some cases, not the majority, of course. I'm talking about specific hacks that are happening. I'm going to give you some stats. This is an article from CNBC. Cryptocurrency investors lost nearly $4 billion to hackers in 2022. See, people think that the hacks are in the rearview mirror, that we've dealt with a lot of these problems. There's more hacks right now than there's been in a long time. Just listen to some of these stats. Last year marked the worst year on record for cryptocurrency hacks, according to Chain Analysis. Cryptocurrency hackers stole $3.8 billion in 2022, according to the blockchain analytics firm's reports, up from $3.3 billion in 2021. October had the most crypto hacks in a single month, with $775 million stolen in 32 separate attacks. So there's a problem with the overall system. There's way too much potential for your money just being stolen. If someone walks into the bank and they steal the money from the bank, you know that there's a whole system that's going to go after the perpetrators. They're going to recover some of your money or all of your money. But this cryptocurrency thing, it's a different thing where you can have $1 billion, $1 million, all your life savings invested in a cryptocurrency that then that money just goes. And there's nothing you can do about it. I would argue that that completely undermines and derails the entire concept of investing in this particular thing. Why would you invest in something where the house odds are just stacked dramatically against you? You need to invest in the right cryptocurrencies. They need to go up in price, and you need to not get hacked in that time, which you probably have zero control over. And if they don't hack you, you got to be able to get your money out of the account, and it's up to them if they're going to shut you down. Decentralized finance protocols, known as DeFi protocols, accounted for about 82% or $3.1 billion of all crypto stolen by hackers in 2022. A little later, it goes on to say, when it comes to mitigating crypto hacking, many issues are due to a lack of security, David Schwed, Chief Operating Officer of blockchain security firm Halburn, said in the report. Right, the issues are due to a lack of security. It doesn't matter. You identify the issues and then you think because you identified it, it's fixed. The way I see it, it doesn't matter what the cause or the reason was. The point is that there are hacks against cryptocurrencies that they cannot yet say that they've got on top of or that is not going to happen to other investors. And as long as that's the case, no matter what, no matter how well you do, no matter how much money you make or how great your profits are, it's irrelevant because there's an underlying thing. You can have the best boat in the world, and if it's got a hole in the bottom and it's sinking, then it's a worthless item. Suddenly, you can't invest when the odds are stacked so dramatically against you. And I'm not saying this against cryptocurrencies. I'm saying right now, there's way too many landmines in the cryptocurrency industry that they will eventually fix and work through. And that would be a great time for you to get involved with cryptocurrencies. But not now, in my opinion. And this video, as all videos, is dedicated and sponsored by all the wonderful supporters of the Peter Leeds Army. If you haven't gotten to the Peter Leeds Army yet, I strongly encourage you all to do it. That's what powers the entire Peter Leeds YouTube channel. And a lot of what we do here for you guys is based on your support that you're showing us. We love you. We're going to work really hard for you guys going forward as long as we're able.